Now to a historic announcement from Governor Gavin Newsom. He's proposing a new 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Of course, this would affect the entire country when it comes to gun control, but it faces an uphill battle. We have team coverage with Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala. What happened here in California for this to move forward?
But Andrea Flores joins us. Let's start with you to break down this proposal, Andrea.
So Governor Newsom says this is a way to sidestep Washington's gridlock. If passed, the new amendment would restrict access to guns in all 50 states. The governor says the amendment would do 4 things. It would raise the minimum age to buy guns to 21. It would mandate universal background checks. It would require a wait period for gun purchases, and it would ban the sale of assault rifles.
He knows he has probably no chance of actually getting this amendment passed and getting the threshold that you would need. So he knows that, but he's announcing this, to take away and distract from his failures in California.
Now, creating a new amendment is no easy feat. In fact, the process is designed to be very difficult, and it's never been successfully done in our history. So Governor Newsom would need 2/3 of states to propose the same amendment. That would trigger a constitutional convention. Then 3/4 of states would have to vote yes for it to pass.
There would be challenges along the way about whether other states have actually agreed with this proposal. There are questions about whether Congress would actually have to call a convention if you had 33 states asking for it. So there are plenty of legal issues to contemplate as this moves forward.
Now, there has never been a U.S. constitutional amendment proposed by states that has ever passed. So that gives you an indication of how hard this could be.
Yeah, definitely. California lawmakers are getting to work on moving forward with Newsom's push.
KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joining us to explain the role that other state lawmakers have in this and how other Republican states are responding.
Yeah, really, it's incumbent upon California's legislature, if the governor wants to move this forward, for them to take action, and that comes in the form of a joint resolution. So to pass that resolution, it calls for the constitutional convention that the governor is seeking. That resolution will specifically call for the convening of the states to enact minimum standards and restrictions for gun possession. That includes the bullet points the governor outlined in his announcement, including universal background checks and an assault weapons ban. That resolution here in California requires a simple majority vote from the legislature. So at the state level, this is an easy lift. Considering the Democratic supermajority agrees with the governor on these issues and the state already has these laws on the books, Democratic Assemblyman Reggie Jones-Sawyer is expected to file that resolution on behalf of the governor, but he couldn't say today exactly when that will happen. Here's his message to Republican-led states.
We've got to make sure that the message doesn't get misunderstood. We're not trying to overturn the Second Amendment. Let's start with that. What we're trying to do is come up with reasonable, sensible gun control laws.
Meanwhile, Republican California lawmakers called Newsom's national effort a stunt.
He knows he has probably no chance of actually getting this amendment passed and getting the threshold that you would need. So he knows that, but he's announcing this, to take away and distract from his failures in California.
Now, you heard Andrea describe, what Newsom has said, that this is a way of sidestepping the gridlock in Washington. But that doesn't mean there might not be gridlock on this nationwide. California would need 33 other states to get this on board, just to get this to the next step of the process. We've reached out to state leaders in Florida and Texas for the reaction to Newsom's proposal, but we have not yet heard back. Coming up at 6, we are hoping to hear from Anthony Daniels, who is the Democratic State House Minority Leader in Alabama, another Republican-led state, so we can get the perspective of what an uphill battle it might be for leaders like that who are trying to help the governor.
It would be a long process to make this happen.
Very much so. It could be decades, really.